Hello, it's been a while. It's been at least several months since the last video. I didn't think I'd be coming back making this one either, but here I am. I did a video a few months back, must have been about 8 or 9 months or something at this point. It was one of the first videos on the channel actually, sort of talking about CodeClan, which is a coding bootcamp here in Scotland. They have suddenly closed doors. They have gone into administration. Didn't think I'd be saying that, but here I am. Yeah, so I want to talk about that today, not necessarily what happened. I think that's a different video and probably not the one I'm going to make. It's just not going to be like a post-mortem on sort of exactly how everything happened. I feel like I'm going to do something a bit more productive here and sort of give advice to the victims of, people who were on the course and sort of midway through and stuff like that. And then I've had their course sort of pulled from them and, nowhere to turn, money, maybe entire savings in some people's cases gone, no job to go to, things like that. An incredibly stressful situation that could have easily happened to me. I don't know what I would have done personally if it were me. It would have been very, very stressful. So I feel like I need to do something here basically and address it, especially given the fact that I've already done a video sort of talking about the course and sort of singing its praises in a sense, which, yes, it was good and it was great what they were doing. Let's not discount that. Everything CodeClan did for the tech industry here in Scotland. They gave a lot of people sort of an avenue to change their lives and, get people into different careers, people that otherwise wouldn't have had the means to, say, go back to uni and get like a degree in computer science and stuff, It was just a great way to provide that opportunity for a lot of people to sort of get the career of their dreams, I guess. But anyway, as I said, this video is going to be a bit of an advice video, a bit of a sort of hopefully helping people who are sort of in situations where they don't know what to do. Right now I imagine a lot of people are very overwhelmed, so I want to try and lay some stuff out and sort of give some avenues, some paths to take, try and sort of help some people out, I guess, that maybe aren't quite thinking clearly just now. First of all, just because the course has suddenly come to an end, don't just stop, right? I know it's easier said than done, but you should continue to meet up with your cohort and, keep studying. If you're doing projects and stuff like that, keep doing the projects, keep making more projects, even after the fact, even more than the sort of free that you do on the course. Do as many projects as you can. Just keep working, keep learning, and keep trying to help each other out. Network and things like that, and get talking to as many people as you can. This sort of applies to not just CodeClan, but just anyone in a situation, really. Anyone who's been on a coding bootcamp sort of course, that kind of style of thing, where you paid a lot of money up front and then all of a sudden it just stops for some reason and you're left out of pocket, no job or anything like that. And, a lot of these people who are in these sort of courses are career changers. They're generally people that are maybe a little bit older and have like financial responsibilities and things. They're not students, sort of in the traditional sense, straight out of school and stuff. A lot of them are people who have lives to like facilitate, some cases family, children, dependents, So, it's this is applicable to anyone in that situation, really. But obviously, CodeClan has made me make this video. Basically, it's sort of obviously very near and dear to me, given that was the specific coding bootcamp that I attended not too long ago now. It's only been sort of 3 years or so since I was there. But anyway, as I was saying, regardless of whether you were there or not, just continue as if you were, is what I'm trying to get at. As well as that, also not just applicable to CodeClan or even just people in Scotland, but you should join the Scottish Tech Army. They are currently doing a ton of stuff, and they are basically welcoming everyone with open arms, basically. Get over there and get involved in some projects. If you don't know what the Scottish Tech Army is, basically they are an organisation that started during the big cough in 2020, and they basically just provide sort of technical products, solutions to things that maybe people need but otherwise don't have the funds or any means to facilitate a company producing for them. They basically take that sort of gap in the market and then take people who don't have experience, who are willing to volunteer their time and learn more from maybe some people who are a bit more experienced as well. And they all get involved in projects for free, obviously, in their spare time, to produce whatever. And that's been really successful over the last few years. That's still going, and they still are quite willing to take on new volunteers. And I'm sure you can get over there and get involved in some stuff. It's quite difficult sometimes, just especially now, just due to the sheer amount of people who aren't in jobs and stuff, because the job market's not very good right now, especially here in the UK. But it's a great place to network as well, even if you're not necessarily getting a lot of experience as such, working with the tools and the things you've been learning. It's a great place to network and potentially even drum up some kind of opportunity out of it. You never know, right? So it can't hurt. Definitely get yourself over there. And the reason I say it's not specific to Scotland or CodeClan as well is that because of the nature of it, because they are pretty much remote entirely, you can join from anywhere. The only real constraint, I suppose, is time zone. If you're from quite a different time zone, it might be quite difficult to collaborate with a lot of the people there. Although saying that, I don't think it's unheard of. I think there are actually people from like the States and things on there. So I mean, yeah, it's not impossible, obviously, it might be a constraint, but definitely get on there. I'll link that below, or any other sort of resources that I mention here in the description. I'll try and link as much stuff to help people out as I can. Other than that, obviously I've said keep collaborate people in the Scottish Tech Army network, do as much of that as you can. Following off of that, talking about projects, open source projects and things like that, getting involved in all that. There's no reason you can't necessarily go off, make your own thing and potentially market it, sell it, right? You don't necessarily need to go and get a job with a company. You can do it yourself, potentially. It's not an easy thing, obviously, as well, but some people might have a background in business and marketing and stuff. They might have a bit of a knack for this stuff already, and it might actually be the path they should take anyway. Especially when you've got a lot of people in a similar sort of boat. It would be a good idea, in my opinion, to all collaborate and sort of make something that you could potentially market to, a market somewhere. So identify a gap in the market and try and produce a product that people might, get some kind of value out of, right? So yeah, absolutely try and produce something that you could potentially market, create a business out of, or even just freelancing, or just use it as a portfolio piece to facilitate freelancing and market yourselves, right? So yeah, start a business, freelance, that stuff's all still an option. The job market's not great right now, so it might be something to look at, but also that's not going to be easy either, because well, obviously, if it was easy, then businesses would be booming right now and the job market wouldn't be so bad, right? So it's not going to be easy. But when you're at a point where maybe you don't have much else to lose, right? Maybe it's a good option, It's the best time, in a sense, to take that plunge, take that risk. Because, what else is there, right? If you're really not business inclined, if you really don't want to do any of that stuff, and you just really want to work for a company that aligns with you, aligns with your goals, and that's all you want to do, then that's fine. But again, it'll be very difficult just now to try and get into a job in a company in the traditional sense. So you're going to have to try and think outside the box a little bit, I think. I kind of had to do this in my first role as well. Sort of at the end of 2020, job market wasn't great. It's not quite as bad as it is now, I would say, but it wasn't brilliant. It was starting to open up a little bit, but yeah, not great. So basically what I did, this is a tip that I gave in another video I did. I'll link it below. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but if I find it, I'll link it. But what I said in that video was, for my first role, I'd got in touch with a company, a sort of web marketing agency that I'm not going to like name them here or anything. I'm sure you could probably find that out. But got in touch with them, and I'd previously applied for a job with them before, quite a bit before CodeClan, sort of about 6 months before or something like that. It wasn't for a dev role. It was actually for a sales position. It was something just non-tech related, basically. I was trying to find a new job. Didn't get that job. Don't have any sales experience, right? So wasn't really to be. But I got on with them quite well. They remembered me, I remembered them, and basically one day I just kind of got in touch with them and said, "Look, remember me? Hi. I've been doing all this stuff for the past sort of year or so. Here's my portfolio, here's all the stuff that I've done. Do you have an opening for like a web developer position? I know obviously that they deal with sort of web-based products, right? I didn't know exactly the details of everything, but I knew they had some need for that kind of stuff, right? Even if it was just like a WordPress dev or something, right? So with that in mind, I got in touch. The worst thing they could say is no, right? And obviously they remembered me and they looked at my stuff. But the guy specifically that I'd spoken to, I'd passed that stuff on to the guy who would ultimately be my boss, as I went in for an interview about a week later or so and got the job. Got on really well with him. So much so, in fact, that we're actually still friends now. We still talk on the odd occasion. So yeah, it was absolutely a worthwhile experience for me. And that came about purely because I asked a question on LinkedIn, basically. They, as far as I was aware, they weren't hiring for a developer or anything like that at the time. It just happened to work out. That they were thinking about, they might need someone else. They weren't sure. They were sort of internally talking about it, but there was nothing advertised or anything like that. And I just happened to show up at the right time, I guess, and sort of make my case. I realise it's a very specific scenario, right? But hopefully that's the kind of thing that might inspire people to go and sort of drum up their own opportunities and things. Go and talk to people and ask all the questions. And the worst thing people can say is no, or just ignore you, right? You really need to try and sell yourself, and just try and poke your nose in everywhere. That's kind of the only thing you can do, right? So hopefully that helps some people. But if it's not entirely applicable to you, if you've not necessarily applied to anywhere in the past applicable, then yeah, it might just be a means to inspire, right? Yeah, so aside from all that stuff, you don't necessarily need to get a job, all the way up to, if you want to get a job, you might need to try and obtain it in an unorthodox sort of way. Other than that stuff, a good way to sort of show your learning, for example, to employers and things, and maybe make it more transparent than a traditional CV would, is document it in the form of like a blog, right? So a good way to do that actually would be YouTube videos, because YouTube videos sort of show your personality, how you express yourself and things like that, how good you are at explaining stuff and communicating. That can all be communicated quite well in the form of a video. A blog, like a written blog, isn't necessarily a bad idea either. If you're sort of well versed in sort of writing, right? If you're good at writing stuff, then it's not to say that stuff's not valuable either. You could do that as well. Maybe a bit more difficult to get people to see it. good thing about YouTube, I suppose, is they've got like an algorithm that pushes related content to people, right? And they might just on the offhand see it, or you can post that around and people might be more inclined to watch something as opposed to read something. Just basic human nature, right? But both are valuable. If you're not the kind of person that can sit in front of a camera and talk, then even just blogging about your learning, sort of documenting everything that you've learned, might be a good thing to show off to employers, because it shows a timeline of all the sort of stuff you've built, your learnings from your projects and things like that. So all that stuff's really valuable as well. And it might even be successful in the sense that you actually start to gain like sort of monetary value from it, right? If you actually start to earn money from ads and things, if you're on YouTube, or if you're making a blog as well, if you put ads on your blog, all that kind of stuff might even lead to some success for some people. So that's also an avenue to pursue for a lot of people, I would hope. So other than that, just coming back to the idea of don't give up, right? There's a bunch of stuff you can do that you can continue to learn, and you can continue to network with everyone else who's in the same situation, with people who are volunteering their time in the tech army, as much people as you can. It just sort of come together and sort of create opportunities for yourselves. It's sort of the best thing you can do right now. Easier said than done, as I said, with it all being quite fresh just now. But, hopefully this video has been helpful and inspiring to people who maybe are a bit overwhelmed right now and just need a bit of sort of placing in the right direction, right? If you've got any comments, questions, feel free to leave them down below. Get in touch in any way that you can. I'm happy to help people out. If you find me on LinkedIn or anything like that. If you're an ex-Codeclanner, I'm probably quite easy to find. You probably know me already if you are at Codeclan. Get in touch on there. My DMs are open to anyone who might need some advice or some feedback for like CVs and stuff. That can sort of help where I can. So anyway, that's it from me. Share the video around as well to anyone who you might think this would be applicable to as well. Share it around and let's see if we can help as much people as we can. I don't know how many people will see this, but people share it around and comment and stuff. Some engagement might push it to people who need to hear it, right? So that's it from me. Bye for now.